Sup everybody, and welcome to TFN's second Company of Heroes 2 news video update, where we will be talking about some recent news for the past 2 weeks or so. And the most special news that we got today actually was the date for the Company of Heroes closed beta, which is actually going to start at the 2nd of April for the pre-orders only, and on the 21st of April all of those keys that were given out at some of the events for the Company of Heroes 2 release and some other things, you can actually start using them the 21st of April. So the 2nd of April is for pre-orders only, and there's also some new additions to the beta compared to the alpha that was back in December last year. And what are some of those things, Tommy?
Well, they're gonna add another 2 maps for the beta. One of them is Moscow. They've said it's gonna be a kind of city outskirts map, and the other one is Oka River. We don't know whether these are 1v1, 2v2, or whatever kind of maps, but they have said that whereas last time I think all the maps were 2v2 and 3v3, there are now 1v1 and 4v4 maps as well. So presumably one of those is a 4v4 and the other one is a 1v1. Also, in the beta, you're going to be able to access the first 40 levels of progression. Now, we're not entirely sure what this will be, but there is going to be a leveling system in Company of Heroes 2, a bit like the one in the original Company of Heroes, only I don't think there's going to be any cap to how many people can be at a certain level. So while there could only be one level 20, I don't think that's going to be quite the case in Company of Heroes 2, but again, we're not entirely sure. The other new addition is that there is going to be, they've included the army customizer, something that we still don't know a whole lot about. They haven't really said, they haven't given a whole lot of detail with regards to the kind of things we're going to be seeing in the beta. They've just listed what it is going to be, but there's going to be an army customizer, which presumably is going to allow you to pick your intel bulletins and your commanders and sort of customize your loadout before you actually head into battle.
Yeah, it's going to be so you're able to customize your loadout for your specific army type or your playstyle or whatever, but we don't actually know. They've just like blurted it out in the little public message they sent out today, and it's it doesn't really describe anything in any form of depth, so we don't really know what they mean exactly. But apparently there's supposed to be more stuff, so that's always good, I guess. Also in recent news, Noun was rehired as the Relic CM for Company of Heroes 2. Which is always good to have. So that he's going to work alongside of the Sega community manager, which we all know is Lynx. So it's now a 2-team community manager are Noun and Lynx. So that's always good. And we also have some actually Company of Heroes news as well.
Yes, there was rather big news that came out last week, which was that the original Company of Heroes servers for the original game are going to be taken offline on May the 7th. They're actually going to go offline. No more of those old servers. But don't worry, you're still going to be able to play Company of Heroes, because from April the 8th, they are going to be incorporating Company of Heroes into Steamworks. It's going to become a Steamworks game, much like Company of Heroes 2. Now, they don't know exactly how this is going to work, but from April the 8th, you're going to be able to opt in to tie your Company of Heroes to your Steam account as an actual Steam game. And they have said that there may be an initial loss of functionality. Some things may not work. For example, leaderboards may have to be reconfigured so that they fit with Steam leaderboards. But hopefully this will become clear in the coming days, and from April the 8th when that opt-in starts. So that's April the 8th is the date when you're going to be able to log on to Steam and actually start that transition, and you can, I think you're going to have to re-download the game, or perhaps not. It's not quite clear. But then from May the 7th, if you want to play the original Company of Heroes, you're going to have to opt in to that Steam tie-in. Otherwise, you won't be able to play the game.
Yeah, and also they have mentioned briefly, I think very vaguely, they mentioned that they will try their best to actually somehow port the leaderboards over just as much as they possibly can, if it's possible whatsoever. But they don't know yet, and we don't know. We haven't gotten more information than at least they're going to try to do it. Recently, also on the official Company of Heroes forums, there's been quite an extensive Q&A with the lead designer Quinn Duffy, and Tommy actually has a small roster of questions and answers that Quinn Duffy has answered to the general community. So he's going to start listing some of those, and that will be at the end of this episode. So go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, there were some really interesting questions actually asked to Quinn. He just set up a forum and just said, open forum, ask what you want. A lot of the answers are, as you might expect, you know, I can't expand on this because he doesn't know or he doesn't want to say for marketing reasons. But some of the more interesting things are things such as related to performance. In the beta performance is going to be roughly 2.5 times as fast as the performance that most people experience in the alpha, which I'm sure will be a huge sigh of relief for everyone who experienced pretty major lag issues in the alpha, which I think was most people. It wasn't really calibrated at that time. They've also said, and this is very good news for us as shoutcasters in particular, that observer mode is confirmed to be in, which is definitely a step up from a few months ago when they said it's sort of maybe yes, maybe no. It's unlikely that it's going to be in place when the game goes gold, but it will be put in place at some point down the line, which is going to be really good for us. And they've also said that they're going to be having a lot more capabilities for this observer mode to have multiple people. So it won't just be an observer mode where 1 or 2 people can join in, but actually much more than that, although they haven't said how many that's going to be. They have also said, with regards to, there's some questions about the beta here, in regards to mirror matches, this has been a real sort of point of contention, and they will be disabled in the auto match for the beta, but they will be enabled for custom games. So don't know how it's going to work. Hopefully they're going to be able to sort of test it. The fact that they disabled it in auto match sort of suggests that perhaps they're leaning slightly away from them now, but we'll have to wait and see. Also, we've got some... They've also clarified how the resource system is going to work. I think this sounds quite finalized now, because it has gone through quite a lot of changes since the alpha, and then before the alpha, they were never quite sure. But Quinn Duffy said in regards to how the resource system is going to work, there's going to be 2 different types of points. There's going to be one type of point, which is going to be where you determine whether it's a fuel or a munitions point, and you build on top of that. And then there's going to be certain high-value points, so like the current plus 16 points that you get for fuel and munitions, and they are going to be quite rare, but they will be fixed on certain maps, and they will be definitely fuel or munitions. So it's sort of an element of the old and the new coming together there. With regards to they've said also with regards to smurfing, this is one thing that's sort of been a point of aggravation for a lot of people in the original game. They have said that the server switch may or may not remove smurfing from the game. It's not entirely sure. People may still be able to make multiple accounts at will, but in Company of Heroes 2 there won't be any smurfing unless you buy another copy of Company of Heroes. So it's not going to have the same ability to just create loads and loads of wacky Smurf names at will, which is kind of a sad thing, but mostly probably a good thing. In terms of other questions, there's a lot of them haven't been able to give sort of full answers to it, but I think that's most of the sort of the big ones. But we'll leave a link in the description and you can go and read through it yourself. There's loads and loads of questions in there. So hopefully that will sort of whet your appetite if you're not planning to play the beta. And if you are, then hopefully you're getting pumped up, because next Tuesday the 2nd of April, you're going to be able to load up Company of Heroes 2, the beta, and get a real taste of what it's going to be like when it comes out.
Yeah, so start pre-ordering people so you can get in that early closed beta test. Otherwise, if you have keys from different expo events, etc., you'll have to wait for the 21st of April to use those beta keys and get into the closed beta, the second phase of the closed beta, you could probably call it. So first phase of the closed beta, pre-orders only. So if you want to get in now, 2nd of April, go ahead and pre-order Company of Heroes 2 on Steam or Origin, I think. That's basically the 2 choices you have. So thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you guys for next news episode in the future.
See you guys.